What's up guys, my name is JayThePizzaGuy and welcome to a special edition of Stupid New Mexico Drivers. In this episode I bust a Sandoval County Sheriff going about 30 miles an hour over the speed limit and take on the department single-handedly. Stick around. Police officers ticket people for their driving mistakes on a daily basis. But shouldn't someone hold officers accountable as well? On the night of April 29th, I had that exact opportunity. While on my way home on this stretch of Southern Boulevard in Rio Rancho, I busted a Sandoval County Sheriff's deputy going an estimated 70 miles an hour. Problem is, the speed limit on this road is 40 miles an hour and then goes down to 35 as you head west. I understand an officer speeding to get to a priority call, but with no lights or sirens? That set me off. So I called non-emergency and gave him a piece of my mind. Here's the footage of the officer speeding to show you exactly what happened. After getting passed around several times, I ended up speaking with a Lieutenant Benali who oversees the entire department about what happened. I gave the lieutenant my word that I wouldn't record or use our conversations in the video. However, he did give me the name of the department's media relations officer, Lieutenant Keith Elder. After a rather lengthy game of phone tag, I caught up with Lieutenant Elder and was able to ask him some questions about the officer's irresponsible driving and what the department's doing to cut down on situations like this. Hey guys, JayThePizzaGuy here on location, speaking with Lieutenant Keith Elder of the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office. How you doing, Lieutenant Elder?
Doing great. Yourself?
Hanging in there. So as you know, with the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office, I captured one of your units, Adam 11, going an estimated 70 and a 35. What kind of call was the officer responding to?
The officer was responding to a burglary in progress call. And you know, we had talked about some of the things before we actually met today about procedures and that kind of thing. We do have procedures in place with the Sheriff's Office that give guidance that are not the all definitive procedure on how to respond to various calls, because as you know, calls come in different ways, different mechanisms, and we have to be able to respond and give deputies guidance on how to respond appropriately to certain calls. Now with the burglary in progress call, we may be in close proximity to that call, and if we're using lights and siren, particularly siren, in the event that we respond to that, it may alert the burglar that somebody's coming to their location, which would lead us to investigate a crime as opposed to apprehend a criminal involved in a crime.
So that basically presents another question that I just happened to think of based on what you said in the last take. So he was captured right in this area over here. I'll show you guys on the video with some, you know, fade shots and snapshots of exactly where it happened. In that place, he went all the way up to Rainbow, which is basically a half mile, 3/4 of a mile. Do you think it would have been proper had he at least thrown on his lights just to pass us and turned them off?
Well, from our discussions, I've done some investigation about the location of the call. The call was a considerable distance from here. So yes, it would have been advisable that he's using at least overhead emergency lights to respond till he gets to a closer location to that call and then turn the lights off. But again, it goes back to what I said previously. A lot of this is left to the judgment of the deputy involved. We don't encourage violation of policy. In fact, we investigate violation of policy. And as a result of that, you know, in this case, you know, it would have been advisable that he use lights prior to getting to that call.
How long has this officer been on the force?
He's a relatively young officer. He's been on duty for about a year now.
Has he ever had complaints filed against him before?
I don't know of any complaints that the officer has had, and if if I knew of the complaints, they're personnel matters, so I couldn't discuss them with you.
Is this officer getting reprimanded for his actions? And if so, what is his punishment?
I don't know which supervisor is looking into the matter or the complaint, and if there is any reprimand or some kind of discipline that comes out of that. That's a personnel issue that I'm not at liberty to discuss to the public.
So, Lieutenant Elder, have you seen the video in question?
I have not.
Luckily, I brought along my laptop to show him exactly what had transpired that night. I showed him the evidence of his officer flying past me in my conversation with a non-emergency operator. After seeing the officer's actions in the video, what's your opinion of his actions?
The actions are concerning, and they're being looked into.
Is anything being done within the department to prevent actions like this in the future?
Well, in the department-wise, we go through and do training biannually for pursuit driving, which includes responding to calls. When we do that training, we give guidance on how to respond to calls. So it's not just a case-specific type action. It's going to be an encompassing, and it's an ongoing training that we do. We've done it in the past, and we continue to do it throughout the future.
So in situations like this, why is it that officers aren't given speeding tickets or reckless driving tickets or anything like that?
Because the discipline action that the department gives for this type of activity, if it's founded, would far outweigh the penalty of a simple traffic citation.
While speaking with the lieutenant off camera, I learned that these suspensions could cost an officer as much as $160 per day, depending on their salary. What I couldn't find out is why the officers don't have points taken off of their license for these infractions, just like everybody else. What exactly happens whenever an officer has a complaint filed against them?
The complaint's received by the department. Then, like when you file the complaint is taken in by a supervisor. The supervisor then investigates that complaint and either has a finding or has a unfounded or some kind of response to how that complaint will be mitigated. In the case where an officer is an unfounded, it just goes away, nothing happened. In the event of a substantiated complaint, then that could result in some kind of discipline that could be anywhere from a counseling session up to a reprimand, including some suspension time.
Well, thank you very much for answering some questions for me today. I definitely appreciate it.
Anytime. If you have questions, give me a call.
And now, back to the studio. While the majority of the police force consists of responsible officers, it's our job as a community to keep the bad ones in check. If you see an officer that's abusing his or her powers or driving in a way that a civilian would get ticketed for, call non-emergency and report them. If you can safely do so, take a picture or video of the infraction so the supervisors have evidence to go on. Remember, you have the power to correct bad driving on our roads. All you have to do is make a phone call. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat for the latest news about the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. What the f was that, dude? What the hell?